I've been having an otherworldly experience these past few weeks. I'm reimagining a couple of classic records in Dolby Atmos. Though I can't yet share the who and what, but I will put a relevant link in the pinned comment below when the records are out. I'd like to share with you my thoughts on how I approach these types of mixes, not in a technical fashion per se, though I will mention some tidbits, but the mindset of how to do these recordings justice while bringing them into the Atmos years. Greetings! I'm Pat, your friendly neighborhood Atmos guy. Diving deep into the original multitracks, including their full documentation when available, like track sheets, recall notes, even pictures of the actual reels themselves, where all this beauty lies, is just wow. And the most incredible thing, back in the day, in most sessions at least, the tape kept rolling, so you have a fly-on-the-wall look, listen, into the conversations, choices that were made and why, bloopers and whatnot, and above all, the incredible musicianship. Never mind all the hidden gems that you uncover within the mixes as you're listening to the original masters. All these just a testament to the unbelievable ethos and pathos of all involved. Let's take a look at my process, shall we? First of all, eternally grateful to the label, the artist and or their reps, and all other people involved for trusting me with these incredible gems. So, the communication starts on the project and multitracks and reference tracks start coming in. Let the love begin. Cup of coffee and ready to, pun intended, immerse myself into the magic. First step is I go to Apple Music and play the whole record over and over while doing my main research. Then run to my vinyl and CD collection if I already own the record. I check the credits because the full credits are usually there, unlike the DSPs, though Apple Music lately is getting a little better. But there are all kinds of cool things that you'll find on the album as well. They're in the sleeve and in the inserts. Then I hunt for articles about the record, interviews with the artist discussing the idea, the songwriting and performing, but also reviews, chart positions, controversies, anything. And then you might ask, then I hunt for articles about the production, the recording process, mixing and mastering of the particular record. I investigate the studios that were used, the gear, the approaches and philosophies of the producers and engineers of the record and of that era, but also details about that particular record. For example, the use of a plate versus a chamber reverb on a vocal. All these are part of the story and contribute to my understanding of the record. On the way home, I listen to the record in the car. With my daughter, she's 4.5, usually singing from the back seat. When home, I listen to the record. When I make coffee, I listen to the record. When I take my stroll around the block, I listen to the record. Before I go to bed, you get the point. Me and that record are starting to become one. Now, back at the studio, it's time for some attentive listening. Everything goes into do not disturb mode. I open up my Atmos journal and listen attentively to every song while taking notes. My notes are usually things I notice about the song, like some apparent extra distortion on a vocal line or a hidden part that I missed when casually listening, or the relationship between the backgrounds and the lead vocals, or how the guitars are panned, or how prominent or not the bass is in the mix. And ideas start flowing on how to take that into Atmos. So I jot this down as well, section by section, song by song, record by record. Then, somehow I know, the record has told me it is time to start the mixing process. I set everything in my DAW, import multitracks and reference stereo mix, and start sculpting the sounds. Need to mention that back in the day, they were not printing pre-mixed stems. All these are the raw multitracks with all their quirks, like hunting down which parts were used where, which takes are the correct ones, and are there any issues with timing and pitch. Tape machines are quirky little things. Love them, but oh my! After taking care of all that, I focus on the lead vocal, meticulously matching the timbre and overall feel of the vocal. Very long process, but oh so deserving that extra attention. How often do you have a front seat into the heart and soul of a legendary artist? Every breath, every vowel, and every consonant dripping with love. Hate hadn't made it into the mainstream back then. But what a privilege to not only witness it up close, but also to reimagine it for Atmos. Then I keep sculpting the rest of the tracks, anywhere from 8 to 24 or 48 in rare occasions, constantly A-Bing with the original master. Then finally ready for some immersing. I go to my Atmos journal and pull out my notes on each particular song. Then start trying things out. A series of what ifs basically. What if the bass went to the back instead of the front? How would that change the feel of the mix? Vocal is not present enough. Do I EQ it or play with placement to enhance it? How do I get what I have while respecting the original mix and make it a new experience? Give you a quick example of my thought process. A song has the drums quite up front, relatively more than any other song on the record. Therefore, methinks, artist, producer, mixer, A&R, label, manager, or whoever had a say in the final outcome meant it to be that way. They were going after a loud, in-your-face sound. How can I do in-your-face for Atmos in 2024 for that particular mix? So I then try and experiment with different ways, like adding the drums or elements of them to the wides or the center or both. I also tried different ways of atmosing strings and horns, like sending them to the tops, and hiding the hidden stuff I found on the original recordings in appropriate places through objects, but now in the 3D space. And constantly I keep ABCDing. What? Yep. A equals original master, B equals Atmos mix, C equals binaural Atmos mix, D equals binaural spatial audio Atmos mix. Yep, I know. Thankfully, I have Ginger Audio's ground control sphere that helps me do that quite effortlessly. The gist of it all, people, is people. And people working together. The creative and technical genius of everyone involved. The songs, the arrangements, the musicians, the performances, the room, the vibe, and I'll include gear in that. And a very important factor, the limitations and how those did not hinder but fueled creativity. Like fitting a string section and a horn section into 4 tracks, or drums in 3. The record is an amalgamation of all these, plus the amazing dedication and vision of the producers. Of course, with the support and expertise of the label. And a quick side note here. Tons of the records we all love and cherish would not have existed if it weren't for some visionary A&R people. These records also would not have been made without the tremendous devotion and love of the engineers when it came to recording, capturing those magical moments, and getting them to the next level through mixing and mastering. You see songs with 4 to 8 tracks, and the quality and amount of work in them is amazing. The rides, levels, reverbs, and so on. with no DAWs and consoles with non-automated faders, where at times everyone in the room would grab one and be a part of performing the mix. And doing these and other things that were not easy. Try doing a reversed reverb on a tape machine. It is the essence of all these that I try to bring to my Atmos mixes of these great records. It truly is a spiritual experience, feeling this awe-inspiring force of people coming together and making music. And I am so grateful to be able to do this for a living. Now, for your listening pleasure, here's a list of some of my favorite engineers' Atmos mixing gems. Till next time.